This is Nerd News Cafe. Stir it up with Matt, Landon, and Justin.
Get ready to stir it up. It is round 40 and we're over the hill. We're going to the nursing home. No one loves this. Happy Turkey Day. This is Matt.
This is Justin.
And let me be the first to wish you a Merry Christmas. I'm the King of Nonsense, Landon Doan.
I'm glad we're keeping that alive.
Halloween's over.
That must be Merry Christmas 2019 now.
2019.
Yeah, that is true.
You guys are
and
just...
2020 while we're at it, assuming we all make it to that year.
I don't have the vision for that. I just
Me
want to
neither.
say...
I've seen this news cycle.
I just wanted to say Happy Turkey Day because it is no longer Halloween.
That's right.
You are in the depths of the preemptive cooking of food if you're in this country.
Start cooking those turkeys now. They take a long time.
That takes forever.
Seriously.
You ever
They
cooked
do.
a turkey?
It takes forever.
It's
all day.
Forever.
Yeah.
Hours.
Don't start the morning of because no one will get any turkey until that evening.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're lucky.
If you're lucky. And it'll be dry, kind of like in the Christmas Vacation.
I cooked a good turkey a few years ago. Actually got like a smaller one because it was just for the family. I wrapped it in bacon.
Nice.
And baked it that way, and oh my goodness,
You literally could have wrapped anything in bacon.
yeah, you can wrap anything in bacon. It's true. It is magical. But it came out moist and delicious.
Moist.
Yeah, it was very good. So it didn't dry
Fun
out.
word.
And deep fried turkeys are also
yeah.
where it's at.
Oh, my God.
Let me tell you guys, if you want to save some trouble, order a deep fried turkey from Bojangles. Oh my gosh, that's good stuff.
Well, that's a wait and a half. You should order that now. Because
Well,
if you've
yeah,
ever been to
you gotta-
Bojangles, it's forever.
no, you don't show up and order one on the day.
You don't show up and order one the week before. You show up now because
no, it's true. You got to
they're
get them ahead.
forever. I don't know about your Bojangles that you frequent, but the ones near me, it's father time in there making my food. I mean, I feel like it's a nursing home that has developed a business proposal for what to do with those people. They serve a purpose. Let's have them make chicken sandwiches and such.
Well, but now that you've discovered Popeyes, you don't have to go back
Yeah,
to
Bojangles.
Bojangles.
Bojangles is an afterthought. I'm like when people bring it in, like the reps and stuff, I'm like, you couldn't go buy Popeyes? This is free. I know, but...
Yeah.
And also, if you have a barbecue place like Buddy's Barbecue, for example, you can get a turkey smoked there. So
Smoke it.
I haven't tried that one.
You haven't tried a smoked
It's
turkey?
good.
My brother-in-law is going to smoke us a turkey. He bought he's super stoked about his smoker.
Smoked.
He's super smoked. So he's going to do that this year for the family. I think he may not. He may opt out, and if he does, Buddy's is there.
Yeah.
So
dang it, now I'm hungry.
oh god, I talked myself right into
I'm ready for a
not
big
doing this
Thanksgiving
right
dinner.
now. I'm ready
Yeah.
to eat.
Yeah. Shortest episode ever. We're all hungry.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, not sorry that I'm hungry. So you promised on the last show
I did.
some comic book.
Oh, no, I didn't promise. Oh, yeah, I did promise that.
You did promise.
Do you listen to this show?
Well, let's go on over to Comic Book Corner. And boy, do I have some comics to talk about today.
Landon, did he explain to you what he got?
Yes, he got a grab bag. More accurately, a brown bag.
A brown bag special.
This stack is as big as a soda can.
Oh, it's almost as tall as
it's
this.
almost just right at the lip.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when Richard down at Nirvana Comics Knoxville made the mistake of handing me a brown bag and saying, fill it up, and whatever you can get in there, you get to take home, he didn't know what he was getting into. In fact, my daughter and I both did this. She ended up ripping her bag, which I don't know if that was technically legal, but she did it anyway because she stuffed it so full, and he let us walk away. So I think we're okay. I am going to run through what I grabbed really quick. There's nothing super amazing in here, but there's some fun stuff. But then I also got some current stuff. This stack is all old.
That's the fun stack.
But I do want to say it was $20 for a brown bag. It was a big one-day event he did. I got 45 comics into my brown bag. So, yeah. He said the record, I guess, for the day was like 57. Someone had done, I don't know how. I don't know how. But they did it. McKenna, my daughter, got 47. So she did beat me, but just by this much.
A hair.
Yeah. So just really quickly, I picked up an Image comic, Lethal, #1. Mainly because it is a lady dressed in a bathing suit wearing a flaming sword on her shoulder.
On her shoulder. That's the best part.
Yeah, and it just Killer first issue. I found out this is a one-shot. I didn't know anything about Lethal, but it looked interesting enough. At least the imagery on the front grabbed my attention. I was
Yeah,
like,
it
sure,
did.
we'll do that. Pacific presents The Rocketeer, number
Nice.
1.
Ooh, all right.
And Steve Ditko's The Missing Man. 2 big features and 32 pages. I got Wildcats Trilogy 1, 2, and 3. And the first one is a foil cover. And I'm a sucker for
Oh
foil
yeah, you
covers.
are. Yeah, you are.
They help to make my, my structure.
Shingles?
My shelter outside when the wife makes me sleep in the
More
doghouse.
water repellent than most.
They are. They hold up to the elements. I got an old school miniseries. This one's called Six from Sirius, and it looks like it's like a sci-fi
Or is that
series.
Cirrus?
It's Sirius.
Serious?
Yeah, like Sirius XM.
Hey now.
This is
Hey.
1, 2, 3, and 4 in a 4-part series. I got them all. It's an old sci-fi series, and I think this is from. I want to say it's from the
1957.
80s.
No, I'm just kidding.
84.
Nice.
It's yeah, and I guess Epic was part of Marvel or something because it says Marvel on the inside. But it looks interesting enough. It kind of looks like a sci-fi movie you would have like in the 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. I mean, it's kind of a throwback fun.
Yep. Spitfire number 1, or Spitfire and the Troubleshooters number 1. This is a Marvel New Universe book, and that's an old school one. I got Marvel Comics Group ROM King Size Annual number 1.
Wrong.
All new Marvel Mayhem. From the pages of the Justice League, Martian Manhunter number 1. Little DC book. This
There
was
you
for
go.
Matt.
That's right.
A little shout
The
out to
greatest.
one of our old school debates where he
Yep.
argued Martian Manhunter needed more love. I got Nomad number 1 because I
I've
think
heard of Nomad before.
after I brought this home, I'm pretty sure I already have this, but it always catches my attention because he looks like the Renegade. If you remember that
yes. Was that Billy Ray Cyrus?
show. No.
No.
No, that was Lorenzo.
Renzo Lomas. That same guy.
Yeah. But on the back of
Oh,
it,
nice.
there's an advertisement for the Game Genie for the NES, which is lots
That's
of
a
fun.
solid win.
Wow.
Yeah. I got Mystery Incorporated, America's most exciting comic book.
Compton.
book. Mayhem on the Mystery Mile. And by the way, Mystery Incorporated, this is not Scooby-Doo. I'm just going to tell you, it's a bunch of weird-looking characters.
Yeah, there are some different mutants in that one.
From Image Comics, Supreme number 1. And this is another foil comic action going on
Yeah,
here.
that'll keep the water off nicely.
Here's a couple that came out right after the death of Superman. Supergirl number 1, Reign of Tomorrow, and then also Steel number 1.
Steel was a
Reign of
big
Tomorrow.
one. He was a big run.
And I have a bunch of the books that came out. Like I have the Death of Superman, and then I have the ones that they all looked the same except they were different colors, and they had the cutout for the Superman symbol. You remember that? I have a bunch of those, but I didn't get many after it, so I don't know if I have these or not. But anyway, they were 50 cents a piece.
Sure.
I got Wolverine. This is Wolverine versus She number 1 by Billy Tucci. Dark Knight of Judgment. Yeah, the Tooch. The Tooch is loose on that one. This is a nice Halloween one. She Ghost Stories. She Kaidan number 1 from October of 96.
Weird looking.
And actually, I noticed as I was pulling these out, last week I talked a lot about Vampirella would be a really good comic series. There was a Vampirella She crossover I did not get because it looked more inappropriate than I wanted in my house
Yeah, more than you could explain.
with my kids going through. Yeah. She Heaven and Earth by Billy Tucci, number 1. Supergirl plus The Power of Shazam, number 1. DC.
Okay.
I got Wonder Man number 1 and 2.
Which looks exactly like Superman.
He is very similar, but it's Marvel's version. DC War of the Gods,
Nice.
number 1, landmark first issue. I picked up a Marvel Comics Presents Wolverine, and it's number 90 because I'm pretty sure I don't have this one, and this is a series I really like to kind of pick up the ones that I can find when I can. This one was interesting to me. DC The Weird, number 1 and number 2.
Let's see, Batman's in
Batman's
that one.
on the front of that one, yeah, and it's, I don't know.
Is that Ant-Man on the other one? No, Ant-Man,
I don't know who that dude is.
Oh,
He's
I
just
thought-
holding up a giant boulder. He's kind of weird.
he is weird. He's weird.
Seems appropriate.
Wildcats Covert Action Teams Sourcebook number 1.
Another full cover.
Marvel Comics U.S. Agent number 1.
Which,
Death looms on the road to redemption.
It looks like Captain America.
It does look like Captain. I don't know what the difference is. I'm not.
I believe U.S. Agent was kind of a Captain America replacement when Cap decided America doesn't stand for what he believes in and went did the Nomad route.
Okay.
Nice.
Just in time for Halloween, I've got Marvel Ultimate Nightmare 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Nice.
Yeah,
All right.
thought that looked cool. A couple of these, I'm not familiar with this character, but it's from the Archie Adventure series. It's Zen, Intergalactic Ninja, number 1.
Hey, wasn't there a TV show
and
about
number
that?
2. Maybe. He's some blue alien-looking dude he's ripped like Godzilla in this picture.
Ripped like
And he's standing next to what looks like maybe a Luke Skywalker rip.
and the Jolly Green Giant, who has a very uncomfortable grip on Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, it's a little inappropriate.
From behind.
He might need to notify a adult.
Show us on the plant where Jolly Green touched you.
I got a couple of these: Superman and Batman Generations and Imaginary Tale, Book 1
Okay.
and Book 2 out of 4.
Nice.
These are by John Byrne.
John Byrne in it.
We got a little Young
Oh,
Bloods.
Youngbloods.
Young Bloods 0, 1, 2, and 3.
Youngbloods, man, it seems like they tried to really, really sell us on those. And I tried to get into them, and I don't know what it is about them that I just didn't really... It wasn't the same to me. This was during a time when I was, Wolverine is everything. But.
Yeah. They were trying to kind of be like a Justice League, Avengers kind of thing, and yeah. But speaking
Yeah,
of
that's exactly
combos,
what they were. Yeah.
we do have Excalibur number 1 and number 2.
I think I have an Excalibur book. I don't know how I do, but I do.
Yeah,
And that's what is his name?
Captain Britain.
Yeah, Captain Britain.
Yeah, it's the UK Avengers. Though they weren't all UK. I remember in the 90s, Kitty Pryde and Nightcrawler were part of.
Yeah, there's-
It's on the front. Actually,
on the front
you
of this
called that
first
the
one.
front cover of this one.
Oh, there you go. Look at me. I'm a genius.
A psychic is.
We always knew it.
He's watching us.
Yeah. So that was my big stack of comics. A lot to get through. I probably won't make it through these for several months, but we're going to, it'll be a labor of love as I work through them. Now, what I want to really get to is there's a couple that I picked up because, like I said, I hadn't been down to the store in several weeks, so I had some catching up to do. But just a couple things I want to hit on. I picked up a couple Generations books. I got The Spiders, which is Peter Parker and Miles Morales.
Spiders.
And I got The Captains. Is that what it's calling it? Yeah. It's the Americas is what it's
The
calling
Americas.
it, with Sam Wilson and Steve Rogers.
Oh.
So the only one that I don't have yet is I think it might be the Irons. It's the Iron Man one. So I'm still missing that one, but I have all the others. The Americas really wraps up the Generation story, and I wanted to talk about it really quick because, Landon, I don't know if you know this, but it is tied directly to Secret Empire. So apparently, right at the end of the actions that you related to us in such detail, apparently all of the characters that were involved in this Generations tale vanished for a full minute, and then they were brought back all at the same time. And when they vanished, they all went into their own little separate Generation stories. So Kobik was the one that caused this, and now Kobik is gone. Nobody knows what happened to Kobik. So not S.H.I.E.L.D., because S.H.I.E.L.D. has basically disbanded at this point, is what I understand. But it's some agency that's bringing all these people in who are part of the Vanishing, the Happening, I'll call it.
Happening.
It's the trees.
bro.
Hey, we need you to come in here and talk, okay?
Yeah, they're bringing them in and trying to ask them, first of all, what happened while you were gone, but second, do you know what happened to Kobik? Nobody knows what happened to Kobik. Kobik is gone. So, but really the Americas one kind of just ties the whole thing together and explains. It's really interesting that the rest of these characters that, I've kind of explained all these stories to you. It's the kind of the current version of the character is being pulled back in time or to another parallel dimension or something like that. They're gone for maybe a day at most. That was true for Miles Morales. He was actually pulled back in time to a point where he was still a child, but Peter Parker was in college. And it's interesting if you look at this book. It's the artwork is very old school comic. Like
Nice.
it looks like it came from the
90s.
50s.
Oh, okay.
Actually, yeah, the artwork is really old school. And Peter Parker's in college, and it shows him kind of, he's still kind of getting picked on. Harry Oswald's there picking on him, and Flash and Gwen Stacy's like, well, why are we messing with him? He seems all right. Well, Miles shows up, and he actually literally runs into Peter a couple of times, and he's like, why is this happening? I've got spider sense. And he's like, yeah, mine doesn't go off when I'm near you either. And this is very confusing for Peter because he has no idea who Miles is at this point. But they get together, kind of explain. Peter decides that Miles must be a figment of his imagination, Just because
Of course
he's
Peter Parker
been
does.
working himself too hard. He's very stressed. He's not getting sleep. He's like, okay, imaginary friend, thanks for stopping by. But it's really interesting. And of course, Miles has this moment of understanding that, he kind of has to get the grasp of the whole message of Peter Parker is with great power comes great responsibility. And Miles, his journey is really, he didn't realize how personal everything really was to Peter. He's always felt honored that Peter thought that Miles could kind of carry the torch and be a Spider-Man. And he's always looked up to him, always inspired him. But he just never felt like, it was never as connected. And he actually kind of, at the point in this story, he was kind of trying to decide, should he even continue to be Spider-Man? But this kind of brought it back to him, and he realized what it really meant to be Spider-Man. So that was kind of cool.
Very cool.
Yeah. The Americas one is crazy. So as I mentioned, all the other ones, they vanish. They're gone for maybe a day, maybe a matter of hours. So when Sam Wilson vanishes, he gets brought back to Manhattan at the time where people are starting to enlist to be part of the military for World War II.
Oh, okay.
His story is just insane. Essentially, he lives a whole nother lifetime.
Really?
Yeah. At first he doesn't join the war. He actually gets taken in by someone who found him when he kind of poofed into existence. And this guy gives him a job. He's working at a restaurant, but then because he says he keeps referring to, if Mr. Fantastic was here, if Tony Stark was here, they would tell me, time travel is very tricky. Don't mess with anything.
Yeah,
don't
don't mess
change
with the
anything. And he realizes he's been brought back in time, but he's like, even though how stories like World War II turn out, when you're there and you're part of it, you can't just stand by and let everybody else go and be part of this thing, and so he's basically called to go enlist. So he does. And he's kind of fighting his own little Sam Wilson war because he basically becomes the Falcon as part of the war, but nobody knows that except for Steve Rogers, who sees him a couple times. It's kind of all in secret. And he says, I basically have to keep this quiet because if the military knew what I was doing, they wouldn't want to, treat me like a symbol like they do you because look at me, look at the color of my skin. This is just not, this is, at this point, it's not a good time for me. And Steve Rogers is like, it's sad, but it's really true. So anyway, he gets back from the war. He ends up becoming like a civil rights leader. He becomes a minister, a civil rights leader. He does all this crazy stuff. And he kind of feels like, he says, when I became Captain America, I didn't know that I could live up to the symbol that you created. And I didn't know if I could fill those shoes. I didn't know if I could do all the amazing things that you did. And this is him talking to Steve Rogers. Like, basically, at this point, Sam Wilson is like an old man, just about to die. And he says, yeah, but he's like, look at what you did without all the attention. You did all this stuff quietly. You didn't benefit from any of this stuff you were doing. You did it because it was right.
Yeah.
He's like, that alone, you proved that
That's what Captain America is.
you're even a better man than me. So Sam Wilson realizes, he doesn't have to prove anything to anybody. He does deserve this title, and that's kind of when he gets pulled back into.
God, how messed up would that be to live an entire?
Oh yeah,
lifetime?
he has kids. He has grandkids in this story. It's insane.
Wow.
Yeah.
Star Trek did something like that, and it's insane to have a lifetime of memories, but be back where you were.
Yeah. Exactly. Doctor Who has had stories like that too.
That's nightmarish to me because you've accomplished all these things. You've come to be okay with your life and how it is, and people, I wish I could be younger. You really don't. You really don't because you've done all this. You don't want to redo it. You don't want to go through the same level again.
Yeah.
You don't want to conquer that dungeon. You get up to this point, it's like, I'm at the end of my life. Look what I've accomplished. My generations have sparsed out. They're doing, I've taught them things. Now it's time for me to die. And then you get zoomed right back to where you were. And it's like, this is awful.
Yeah. Part of the interesting piece of this one is that they actually talk about after they all get poofed back into current times. So Sam Wilson made up a different name for himself.
Yes.
They look back in history. That person never existed. So it's really bizarre. Like, there's no explanation for, did these things really happen? Was it an alternate dimension? Was it all in their heads? They don't really know. Was it like a creation of Kobik?
Yeah, because everybody goes and talks to their former selves or the person who had the mantle before them, so you don't know if they really made an impact or...
Yeah. But the impact was really on the current characters because the lesson they learned, the lesson that they learned, and this is a setup going into the Marvel Legacy series, is They are now free, free of the burdens of their past and the shadows they were living in, to go create their own legacy.
It's a great story writing.
And that's what they're going to go do now.
It's great story writing.
Yeah. So very cool. I encourage you all. I know, like, you can actually probably go find a lot of these books at my local store. They still have almost all of them on the shelves. So there might be a few you can't find. Each one came out with 2 different covers. So they're out there. If you wanted to piece all of them together, you could. And I think it's very cool. All these books have been fun to read. So
It seems that way.
that's my plug. Last one I want to talk about is this Batman series called White Knight. And this is number 1 of 8. 2 of 8 comes out this week. So when you're hearing this episode, number 2 will be on the shelves. This story is crazy. Essentially, what's happened is, I'm going to sum it up real quick, and I'll try not to spoil too much, but Batman, as you know, the Gotham City PD lets Batman do his thing, and basically he goes unchecked because they benefit from Batman's activities.
Sure.
So Gordon kind of always turns a blind eye to that. Well, at this point, Joker has decided that he's going to flip all this on the GCPD. And he says he's tired of taking the rap for Batman going out and wreaking the havoc that he does, and all of it comes back and everybody blames Joker. And so he sets up a scenario where Batman is caught on tape basically going too far, kind of police brutality style on Joker, ends up force-feeding him pills to the point that he stops breathing. And this is all caught on tape. So when he wakes up, apparently he's cured. He's not the Joker anymore. And he's under observation. He's testing as a genius. He's testing totally stable. All the psychic evaluations are coming back, and he's fine. He's Jack Napier again, and he says, "I'm taking you to court, GCPD, and holding you liable for everything you've let Batman do."
Wow.
And so the kind of the story at the end of this is he says, "This city doesn't need a Dark Knight anymore. I'm going to be its White Knight."
Oh my God. That's
So-
pretty good, man.
A reformed Joker is going to try and out Batman.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Using the system against him.
Yep. Flipping the system.
Crazy.
He spent, apparently before he had this meeting with Gordon and the police, he was spending all of his hours in the library combing through legal books, and they're like, "We're in trouble with his IQ rating the way it is right now." Like, obviously, it's a smoking gun. He's got us standing there on video watching Batman beat him half to death and not doing a thing. We're in trouble. So, yep. So, and of course, Batman and everybody's like, do people have such a short memory? Think about all the things that Joker has done to this city. Well, it doesn't matter. You turned a blind eye to this vigilante, and causing property damage and putting people in danger.
It's kind of a I don't know, like a fictional eye on society is now. It's like, you've done some bad stuff, but that kind of, then people start to question, was it really bad, or was it something that went too far the other way anyway?
What do they
was
say?
Was it retroactive and such?
Isn't this in the Dark Knight trilogy where they say you die a hero or live long enough to become the villain?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
I think this is an example of that.
That's pretty good, man. That's definitely sounds like an excellent story.
So I'm into it. I'm definitely going to try to pick these up and see where this goes. So look forward to your Batman updates. Batman White Knight updates.
I will look forward to these Batman updates.
Okay.
Especially with White Knight, it seems like it's telling a story that really hasn't been told.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we've always known the Joker is ridiculously smart. He's he's 100 steps ahead of everybody, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
And for you to turn that on its head and say, oh, he wants to be legal. He wants to be in the system, doing the system's, bidding. So,
and they say a couple of times that, like, if this city needs Batman, then the police is totally ineffective and they're not doing their job.
Yeah, absolutely. So, he's
That's
really
kind of a fair point.
Yeah, he's putting the screws to the police, and it's like, hey, you either do something about Batman or you disband.
Yep. So, can't wait to see where it goes.
Advantage Joker, serve Batman.
That's right. That's right. We're not quite at checkmate, but we're getting there.
Yeah, we're getting there.
And that's going to do it for today's Comic Book Corner.
You're pretty on par with your announcement there.
I like that one.
Yeah.
All right, well, I guess this is the point where we transition into hot and streamy, and this is going to be brief because Netflix is not bringing it this month. They're
going to eat turkey.
Yeah, they've already started the holiday season early. They've already taken off, I guess, when it comes to programming. Off the top, this drops on the 1st of November. It's not necessarily a nerd movie, but it does have Chadwick Boseman, the Black Panther, in it. I'm talking of 42, the Jackie Robinson story. If you are a fan of history and the story of Jackie Robinson breaking down the racial barrier in Major League Baseball and the trailblazer that he has become, and heck, he was at the time. Check that out. Drops the 1st of November. After that, I mean, Will Smith is going to be showing up in Men in Black, the first one, not the second one. Or the third one, just Men in Black 1 drops. Chappie is going to drop on the
Chappie.
first. That's a fun movie. Just in time for Halloween. Silent Hill and Scary Movie drop on November the 1st.
This always happens.
Every
I
time.
know. Doesn't make much sense. Then the next thing of note that's going to drop, at least in my opinion, on Netflix is on the 17th of November. Jim and Andy, The Great Beyond, featuring a very special contractually obligated mention of Tony Clifton. It's a Netflix original. It's a documentary that was shot behind the scenes while Jim Carrey was shooting the Andy Kaufman movie, A Man on the Moon. It really shows the depths that Jim Carrey went to get into the mindset of being Andy Kaufman. I mean, he does not break character this entire time. He's ranting and raving as Andy Kaufman would, or as Latka from Taxi would. And the premise starts with Jim Carrey saying, I believe it was Universal that put out the movie. Universal wanted this footage to never see the light of day because it makes me look like an asshole. Those are his exact words, and he claims he doesn't remember a lot of these things because he was that dedicated to the role of Andy Kaufman. I think that's going to be a very interesting documentary to watch. And also dropping on the 17th of November is Marvel's The Punisher. So the next entry into the Netflix Marvel universe is coming in the middle of this month. If you hate yourself, on the 22nd, The Boss Baby comes to Netflix because everybody wants to hear Alec Baldwin voice a newborn that's a boss somehow. If you're a fan of comedy, on the 21st, Brian Regan, Nunchucks and Flamethrowers drops. That's a Netflix original stand-up special from the comedian. By the way, Patton Oswalt's Annihilation is available streaming now on Netflix. It is powerful. It is hilarious. You need to go watch it. It's so great. And closing out the month of November with Netflix, on the 24th, Trailer Park Boys Out of the Park USA Season 1 drops, and that is your hot and streamy. Oh, by the way, Stranger Things Season 2 is the shit. It's awesome. Much better. Well, I'm not going to say it's much better than Season 1, but I enjoyed it more than Season 1. And I thought very highly of Season 1 after I, got my head out of my ass, and Stranger Things was awesome. So.
After you turned the corner on that one, yeah.
Yeah, complete 180.
I can't wait to watch it. I haven't gotten to yet. We've talked about, I had all kinds of plans this weekend that ended up turning around and changing. So I haven't had a chance to get into it, but we plan to today whilst we carve some pumpkins. So it feels like that would be appropriate to put on while we're digging in to these jack-o'-lanterns.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but you were talking about this is kind of a light month, but I do want to say not all is grim in the streaming world, because in this article that we pulled up, and we saved it for today because the headline's one thing, but the content's another. The headline is really referring to a $25 million film called Kate. They want to put together kind of a really gritty action film with a female lead. They're trying to get Cate Blanchett to do that, and based on some of the action from Thor Ragnarok, that could indicate that this could be something that would be really cool for her. Plus, if she gets to play Kate, nobody would make the mistake of calling her character name or her real name. Just call her Kate. Or Miss Blanchett if you're nasty.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. But the real story here is that apparently Netflix has some really big plans for 2018. They are planning on spending $8 billion. That's a billion with a B. $8 billion on original content. That includes 80 original feature films.
So if you're wondering where your $2 went, that they increased the price, you now know.
Dr. Evil would be so proud of that number. $8 billion.
Crazy.
$1 billion.
Yeah. Unbelievable. So I'm hoping.
Is that what it
Not all
costs
of
to
those-
keep Marvel on their streaming service?
I don't know, man. At least for this year, anyway, until Disney ramps up their streaming service. But
Hope it gets kiboshed.
You got to hope that not all of those are going to be stinkers. We know they won't all be Stranger Things, but
I mean, Stranger Things was a gamble at some point, I would imagine. Mm-hmm. You want to do a show about kids in the 80s and some kind of weird dimensional thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what we want to do. Okay, sounds great. Here's your check.
and they didn't get a ton of money for the first season. You know, one of my concerns, Landon, you were saying that this season held up to your expectations, and that's good. I was very concerned after the success of season 1, given a larger budget, that they would get away from some of the grassroots, like,
I remember you saying that.
Yeah, just go crazy for the sake of going crazy.
Right. So I'm glad that didn't happen. Did you feel like, just give some generalities here, could you feel that this had a larger budget than season 1?
It did feel like going with what they did in season 1, how they were able to recreate the true nostalgia feel of the 80s. I feel like they were able to do that again. And but I don't necessarily think there were pieces that I was like, okay, that is because they have a bigger budget. Okay. We see more of the laboratory, and I think some of that budget does show up in that aspect. There are more special effects, so that's probably where some of the budget went. I will say this is 9 episodes as opposed to 8. And unfortunately, Stranger Things Season 1 was the rare unicorn where I thought every episode in a Netflix original series was needed, and it didn't, meander. Because, I mean, every we'll use the Marvel series, for example. Even though they were really good as a whole, there were a few episodes in each season of, Daredevil,
Fillers,
Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, where it's like, okay, there wasn't really anything that happened here. Unfortunately, in season 2, there is one episode that I felt was kind of disjointed and out of place. And it's not necessarily a bad episode, and it has a story that does need to be told because it does pay off to the, overarching story that is going on in season 2. But just when the episode drops, I feel like once you watch it, you're going to be like, okay, this is the episode Landon was talking about. And again, it's not necessarily a bad episode, but it's just, again, going back to what they did in season 1, every episode of season 2 ends on a, oh my God, what just happened? I have to watch it immediately.
Yeah.
And when you go to this episode that I'm referencing, it feels like a hard pivot away from where you want the story to continue to go.
Okay.
All the characters that you loved are back, and they grow more. They really flesh out more of the characters, so more of Dustin and Lucas and Mike and Will. They introduce new characters, which I'm really looking forward to seeing what they're going to be able to add to the Stranger Things universe. And Steve is back with his bat and his John Ralphio hair, so I'm always on board with that.
Nice. That's good. I'm excited. I can't wait to watch it.
I'm sure the girlfriend can attest to this. It sounds like when you talk about that one episode, that's straight out of the playbook of Supernatural. It's this is the storyline, bottle episode, storyline.
Well, and she, the girlfriend was playing a little bit of catch up because I watched some of the episodes before she did, and I went back and watched them with her. And after we watched that episode, she's like, "That was the episode you were talking about, right?" Like, "Yep." And she's like, "Okay, I see why you were saying that." But again, it's not necessarily a bad episode. It's just kind of felt out of place, and I kind of wish they sprinkled more of it out, or sprinkled it more throughout the season, so it didn't feel like just a dump all at once.
I have a term for this, and I pull it from the Doctor Who universe. I call it the Star Whale episode. There's an episode in season 5, right after Matt Smith started as the Doctor, that the premise, I can't get on board with the premise. The story doesn't move the story forward. It's one of those that if you were brand new to Doctor Who and you saw that episode, you might be like, not for me.
Maybe that's what happened.
So bad
for me.
It's just, sure, it has its moments, but God. So nowadays when I run into an episode like that are bottle episodes, or just, I'm like, what are they doing? This has nothing to do with the story. It's a Star Whale episode.
Supernatural's notorious for it.
Yeah. And I do want to say Stranger Things Season 1 is available on Blu-ray, and I saw this for sale, and it made me so happy. VHS.
That's nice.
That's pretty awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How many VHSs is it, though?
It looked like just one, but then I thought, it's
One?
like, how do you get 8 hours of content onto one VHS?
It's gotta be just. Are you sure it's not like a book that they made look like it's the Blu-ray in a?
That's a possibility. I did just see the picture online, so I mean that is definitely a possibility.
Don't get me wrong. If they got this, I mean, I'm sure the technology in VHS has stepped up to the point we could probably put all 8 episodes on one VHS. I'm kind of hoping it is a VHS. I'm really hoping, because I would love for somebody to like start combing the pawn shops for freaking VCRs.
Yeah. I've got one right in here.
I do too. I've got one. It's in the attic. It's where it's been for a while now. So
Mine is the old school combo VHS DVD player.
it's the exact same one you've got. It's
High living.
he's got a nice patina, a Nintendo patina on it too,
Yeah. It's actually in here with my Nintendo and Super NES.
and they all look same color.
Yeah, they are.
That
Very cool.
yellowed out gray.
So if it is a VHS, I mean, that would be a collector's item.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't watch it. I wouldn't watch it on that just for the simple
keep
fact
it.
I wouldn't want it to.
I'd keep it wrapped.
Because I mean, we all know the minute you put a VHS in, that tape starts getting stretched.
Just like Spring Break, keep it wrapped.
Keep it wrapped.
Okay, I did just do some research, and you were correct, Matt. The DVDs look like the VHS. So
You should have kept me in the dark.
Oh, well.
Oh well, but you're free. Anyone out there, you are free to convert it to VHS.
absolutely, you've already heard. Matt is your target audience for that.
Absolutely, I will buy your 16 tape collection, because that's probably what it's going to take. How much does a VHS hold? Really, I don't know.
2.5 hours.
2.5 hours.
2.5 hours.
I don't even remember.
Maybe. Like if you were going to get the VHS,
I remember the
something
Titanic
like,
thing was like
Gone with the Wind. That'd be
yeah.
like several VHSs. I'm sure.
I remember Titanic was 2,
Yeah,
and if you got like a bonus one, it was like 4. I was like, that's a big box set.
yeah. Oh yeah, they took up a lot of real estate on the shelves for sure. Before we close up Hot and Streamy, I do want to mention there was an announcement that Kingpin will officially be back for Daredevil season 3.
That's no surprise.
All right, yeah. You say it's not a surprise, but I honestly was surprised there was no Kingpin at all in the Defenders.
Yeah,
I felt like that was missing a Kingpin-shaped hole.
I feel like there was a lot of opportunity to work him into that, for the simple fact that a lot of the things the Hand were doing, come on. You don't think the Kingpin would have had some interest in that, or have some, some key people to place for them, or to give them? Yeah, they really missed the mark with not having him in there. But I think we're due some Kingpin, because in 2 we got a little bit, because he's still in prison, I'd imagine, but he's kind of running the prison, as it were. I'm ready for him to make that cocoon-like butterfly flight from the prison.
He'll be back with a vengeance.
Yep.
Cannot wait to see Vincent D'Onofrio do more Kingpin.
Oh yeah, so I'm ready. So, in speaking of things you can't wait on, let me get into this roast. We've talked about how bad the bundles have gotten into, and how, maybe you need to buy some Tostino's pizzas to get you some extra XP. I'm not against that.
Don't go back to food. I'm really hungry.
I know. It's going to be food for a minute. Hold out.
Seriously.
You can get those monster cans, and you can really be tearing up Assassin's Creed Origin, which released this past week. I get it. Those things are simple to do.
Pop-Tarts?
Pop-Tarts, you can buy those. These are things that you get, to get more things. Now we work into like these bundles, these extras you get with, I think, Justin, you said you were at GameStop, and Destiny 2, you get a Destiny rifle now with it, and Origins they were giving out. And I think we had at one point, was it an $800 bundle? You could get like the statue you could put on your porch and have the genders you require to come in to your abode.
Authentic medallion.
It was a Horgon and a medallion. So some really cool stuff if you're willing to pay those premiums. So Gran Turismo, if you guys play Gran Turismo,
I'm sorry, what?
Gran Turismo. Sport is out. Is coming out. They've offered some interesting bundles. You know, they've got some different things out there that are really fun. You can get steering wheels, controllers, different things with this game. But let me tell you the ultimate bundle, because we all needed it. With this bundle, you get the game, you get a PS4 Pro, you get a PSVR, you get 1 year of PS Plus. Sounding good, right? We're moving along. Let me throw the Thrustmaster T GT steering wheel and pedals. And what am I going to mount that to, Matt? Well, you're going to mount it to a fully caged out kind of play area that has a seat and the mount for these pedals and steering wheel, which is a Apogad AP1. I don't know if you know what that is. I didn't know till I read it. Now, what am I going to do? What am I going to play that on? Well, I'm going to tell you what you're going to play it on. You're going to play it on a Bravia 4K HDR TV. I mean, really pulling out the guns. But let me put you in the market for something you probably weren't in the market for. That's a 2018 Mazda MX-5.
What?
Yep. That's on the brochure. Now, you're saying to yourself, Matt, this bundle sounds incredible. How much is it? Let me tell you how much it is. You're going to go out and buy this new Gran Turismo for $46,000. That's what you're going to spend. So if you're in the market for a car, and you're in the market to be alone at your house with these things, this is for you. No, stop it. I don't need to kill myself trying to emulate a game. This is like giving out machine guns for Call of Duty or grenades that could possibly go off from World War I and Battlefield 1. These are not good ideas. These are horrible ideas. And really, that's just really sad shun on Miata there, or Mazda. It's like, sorry we can't sell our cars, we'll just attach it to a video game bundle. I mean,
it has a pretty sweet paint job.
It's just, don't get me wrong, they've really done their math with this. Everything in here makes sense to me until we get to the car.
That Apega AP1 thing you were talking about that you mount the stuff to, it basically looks like a go-kart that's been...
It does.
Like, you parked it in a bad part of town, and it got put up on blocks. It got
the engine's gone, the pedals are gone, the wheels are gone, but you've got enough here to really mount your steering wheel and your pedals, which I will say in the picture... It has a clutch pedal.
It does.
So that's pretty cool. A lot of times you just get gas and brake, but this system looks like you get a clutch to
I'm
really...
guessing your shifter must be on the steering
wheel.
wheel.
You get to practice for when you get in this Miata, because I'm willing to bet it's base package. It's got a manual. Now, I don't know if it's really offered here, but this bundle has come up, and it's one of the Taiwan, pushed Sony Interactive things. I just don't understand what we're doing with this. I don't like this influence, and I don't like where this is going.
Yeah, this is crazy.
I mean, granted, if Portal came out with a portal gun, I'm not against that.
Oh, hells yeah.
Sometimes
I would sign up for that like day one.
Sometimes we need a portal gun. It's like, oh, I really need to get out of work before the boss catches me and tries to make me work Saturday. Bloop, bloop, I'm gone. I'm out.
And by sometimes, you mean all the time.
Every time, Landon. I was trying to be very ambiguous, not let people know my true thoughts.
So this is a Gran Turismo Sport package is offered only in Taiwan.
Well, of course.
You were saying it comes in just shy of $46,300. I was reading at the bottom of this article. It says that you can actually recreate the package in the United States for about $32,000.
Oh, just $32,000.
Well, then you could, I guess, you could upsell it to people in Taiwan, give them a savings of a few thousand.
So now that we have become Nerd News Cafe Bundle Builders,
yeah.
That's our new website, guys. Go to Bundle Builders, nerdnewscafe.biz.
Yeah.
And you too. Now, we can't always get the Mazda MX-5. You might end up with a Buick. Or for our very late comers to it, I'm going to have to say it's probably going to be a Civic. I'm sorry. Without the paint job, because we're going to go down the street.
Screw that. We're going Ford Fiesta.
Oh, absolutely. I may be able to get a couple of you a Fiat 500s, because I've heard those are pretty hot. So... But
Man,
yeah,
I don't-
that's pretty funny. I didn't read all the article because I couldn't get past the picture.
If I'm buying a package like this, I don't want a Bravia 4K.
No, I don't want a Bravia either. I mean,
That's
I wasn't
not the
going to
TV
harp on the
that I
TV.
want.
No. Why would? Here's the thing. This is all coming from Sony. Why wouldn't they give you a Sony TV?
Exactly.
I don't understand that. It's like, let me give you a Bravia. Now, is Bravia a company off of Sony? Maybe that's their.
I think Sony Bravia. I think you're right. I think
Okay,
that
okay.
is a
Well, then,
Sony,
then that makes sense to me. Then,
Yeah,
But even-
Bravia is a Sony TV.
yeah.
I still wouldn't do it.
But I would still rather have. I like my Samsung TVs.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with Samsung, and I think LG does a good job too. If you're going to go TVs, if we're talking TV, you know.
But my favorite thing about the steering wheel and pedal package is that it's called a Thrustmaster TGT.
that's terrible. When I said it, when it came out of my mouth, I was like, "This is someone's going to take that audio and they're going to do a lot with it."
Thrustmaster. That
Yeah,
sounds
when you
like a
drop
South
the
Park
name, I'm
product.
like, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah.
Get that Thrustmaster.
Are you sure this is a Gran Turismo package? Yeah.
I will say though, minus the car of stupidity, the Pro and the VR, that's pretty awesome.
Actually, yeah. Take the TV and car away. Well, give me a better TV.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't
Interject the TV.
I really don't need that car, to be honest. Take that away. The rest of it, that's a cool package.
It is.
I mean, if you're going all out and Gran Turismo is your game, I mean, that is like you salivate every time they say that they're releasing something. This is definitely who you need to be. Now, granted, I didn't read this game. I haven't been Gran Turismo since we had 2 on PlayStation 2. But I wonder if the VR is a part of the game now.
It says it is.
Is it?
It's
Is it?
VR compatible? On the
Really?
game. Yeah. So
I
if-
wonder. Man, that's kind of interesting.
So if you built out your little Apiga AP1,
Apiga,
whatever it's called, if you
can I
built,
wear the VR in the car?
yeah, well, no, you don't want to do that.
Don't wear VR.
Don't
in the
do
car,
that.
guys.
But
Don't
you
do
could
that.
wear it in your little stripped down go kart.
You know what?
You
You know
need
what?
to
Here's
put
the
like a
thing.
fan in front of it to blow.
Oh, absolutely.
blow air in your face.
You need to
That'd
set
be
the
cool.
fan. You need to have like a. You need to run a cord, guys. You're electronic engineers, electrical engineers. Run the cord from the fan down to your gas pedal. So when you push the pedal down, the fan gets faster.
Yeah,
Just woo.
that's a good idea.
Yeah, you know.
I like it.
You can really feel the wind in your hair, kind of like you will in that Miata, because it's only made for a 4'5" person. And that's a terrible car. Why would you put a Miata in there? What if a Miata? And I know I'm calling it a Miata because that's really what it is. It's an MX-5, but it's a Miata. Let's not split hairs here.
Me ought to drive a different car.
Miata found a different car because
God.
the joke was there. It was just very low hanging.
my
What if
style
that
of
says
comedy.
Gran Turismo? Man, I'm really smoking the roads with my Miata. Smoking. I just don't understand this car. Is there a market in Taiwan for people who like gaming and need cars? I mean, are we missing something here? I already went to Squarespace. I'm about to hit go on this website, guys. I really need to know if this is a market. It's terrible ideas. I think we've went way too far. This is the extreme we were talking about.
We've now crossed the
We
line.
have crossed the
It wasn't Hooters in Japan and Sonic.
no, that was just the tip of it, as it were. This
Not
is.
Tostinos and the new Shadow of War.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. I will say I celebrate that pairing. Celebrate it. Because I'm literally going to buy that game so my wife will let me buy the pizzas. Honey, don't you want me to achieve more in this game? Don't you want me to be happy?
I have to get Epic Orcs, baby. And I have to eat this entire bag of pizza rolls in one setting.
Absolutely I do. Because those two things go together. Epicness and pizza rolls.
Epicness.
Epicness. So this is going to be a short brewing, but let me tell you, it's just, this is terrible. This is a terrible idea. And I feel like it's going to compound and it's going to roll downhill into America. And we're going to end up with something stupid like this. I mean,
Where's our Charles Barkley sound drop? Terrible.
That's terrible. You had a bad idea. You came straight in the paint with this and you got knocked down. It's terrible.
Don't come weak in the paint.
Come weak in the paint.
I'm going to send you in the 5th row. Go get the damn ball.
Go get the damn ball.
Everybody's
speaking of video games, real quick, I do want to jump in here. If you're a PlayStation Plus subscriber, which is comes with a year in this crazy expensive package Matt is talking about, if you're hearing this the day this episode drops, you do still have time to go download Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain for free. That is a PlayStation Plus game. I believe that goes away the 5th of November, so act now. It's a damn good game for free.
Do it. So, are you done steaming over there? You done?
Yeah,
you
I
done
just want to
roasting?
talk about how stupid this was. This is as stupid as it gets.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like it could get worse, guys. So don't buy this package because I know all of you were clamoring for it.
No.
You can build it for $32, evidently.
32. Do it
You
yourself.
probably get cheaper than that
Save
if
the
you
money.
went with the Ford Fiesta.
Go with a Ford Fiesta.
That's right. Did they even sell Ford Fiestas? It's called something different now. Just get a Nissan. Is it a Privy? No. What's their little guy? Versa. Get you a
Versa.
Nissan Versa
For
It's
like
gonna-
$8,000. You
$8,000.
get a brand
You're
new Versa
done.
for
You're
$8,000.
good.
Yeah.
It's going to be the same horsepower.
You could probably fit that little Apiga AP1 into.
Holy crap! Rip out the seats. Put that thing in there.
Yeah, and then put the Fiesta, or not the Fiesta, the Versa in your
Nissan
house.
Fiesta.
Put the Versa in your house.
In your house, yeah.
Yeah.
Just roll it in. It already has tires.
Yeah.
It's good. You are good to go. We've built this for you.
I
You're
think
welcome.
Sounds fun to me.
Put the TV in the windshield. Throw the motor away.
So moving on to last week, we asked you all to give us a shout out about Halloween costumes, and I guess maybe no one dresses up anymore because nobody responded to that. You all suck. You're on notice.
You're on notice. We have said time and time again what you need to do. Go to the forums. I understand that Twitter has been your pistol of choice, but we want you to fire with another one. We're giving you a shotgun here.
I checked the forums. Nobody voted. Nobody gave their opinion. Nobody told us what they dressed. But Andrew, I do want to give a shout out to Andrew. Faithful Andrew View. He weighed in on a couple things we had talked about. So he was talking about the autonomous cars. And first of all, he says he doesn't think he can give up his control of his car because his wife calls him Mario Andretti for a reason. But he said he does wish that they would design a smart road interface that gives live updates on the route. Driving down a 3-lane road and it merges to 2 or an accident. Well, I call that Waze. Waze does that for you.
Yeah.
But put it on like a heads up display on your windshield or something, color coded maps. And then he says
I think I've seen some things on that.
we probably need something like this before mass market of autonomous cars. But yeah, I mean, I think they can tie it in with things that are existing because Waze is super, it's crowdsourced information basically, and it's live. And if you have enough Waze users, you get live updates on traffic, accidents, construction, all that kind of stuff. So if autonomous cars were out there and they were doing this, they would communicate with each other. I mean, they're all going to be plugged into a network, essentially.
Yeah.
But then he said he's also super glad to hear comic book movies are going to continue, and he thinks that the arcs are going to be shorter, more like 5 or something, kind of like the way they do stories in comic books now. So I agree with that. And thanks, Andrew, again for interacting with us on the forums. Appreciate you. And then too, I want to give a shout out to Eric. He also interacted with us on Twitter this week. Eric's the man. He's always a consistent interactor. I ask all of you to aspire to greater things. Be like Andrew. Be like Eric. Be like Thomas and Robert. And get out there. Because this show, we want it to be interactive. We want it to be a conversation with you. We can't do that unless you conversate with us.
That's right. Quit standing us up.
Yeah.
Look,
Don't
we
leave
show
us
up,
at the altar.
Exactly. We go there. We get your seat. We make sure that guy with the stupid laptop doesn't get the extra seat because I know that's what he's going to try to do. I slap his hand every time and I said, I have a friend coming. Please stop trying to take my seat.
That's right.
And then you don't show up, and who looks like a jerk?
We look like jerks.
We look like jerks.
Yeah.
Even though
Don't make us
that
look
guy's
like
a jerk
jerks.
anyway, but still, we look like jerks.
Whether or not we are jerks is debatable, but we don't want to look like it.
You could get us up on the forums and tell us why we're jerks or not jerks.
Yeah.
You could do that.
You could.
That's what you could do.
You
on the forum.
could go to the forum and tell us that we're jerks. You could go to our Twitter and tell us that we're jerks at nerd_news_cafe. You could email us, nerdnewscafe@gmail.com. You go to our Facebook fan page and tell us we're jerks. You could do all of those things, and if none of those work for you, then you're a jerk.
That's right. You're the true jerk. Unlike Steve Martin, which is a funny jerk. You are not that.
Who just wants to sit back and just passively listen?
Yeah.
Come on. Don't you want to be mentioned on a podcast and add it to your resume?
If you notice, we have no trouble mentioning anybody on this podcast ever. Even people we don't like.
Kevin Hart, we're looking at you.
Paul.
No, I like Kevin Hart, but I do want to get. I want him to show
I don't
up and
like
beat
Paul.
me up. Oh yeah, Paul sucks.
That guy's number one a-hole.
I think he's pretty notorious in New Zealand for being like a jerk. People
He
don't
knows.
like him.
Oh, absolutely. There's posters up. No Paul.
No Paul.
Oh, wait. Maybe it said no Paul. I'm not sure.
Maybe he said RuPaul.
I'm not really sure on that poster. I was didn't really pay attention.
All right. Well, we were talking recently about going back to using the forums to pick our comic book winners. So I'm going to ask you guys again. Go sign up on the forums. Mm-hmm. Even if we get one new person, we will pull a name.
Yes.
To win a comic book. And I've got some new ones this week. We've got I mentioned we've got the Batman White Knight and we've got the 2 Generation stories.
I will probably make a fake account to win that digital comic.
Go up against Matt. You'll have a good chance. But if even one more person signs up, we will give a comic away next week. We're not doing it today because no one's a candidate.
Because everyone's a jerk.
Yeah. So, all right. Once again, I've worn out my welcome. Matt, do your plugs.
Plugs. Like I got a billion of them.
Do all of them.
I'll do all of them. If you like pumpkins, I'll be at the pumpkin. I'm just kidding. No, we are still talking Trek, Tracking Trek podcast. If you want to jump on the discoveries of Discovery and see what's happening there and what we think about it and how we're feeling about it. And really just all the times I teared up at that one scene where that guy did that thing. If you want to know what that thing was and why I teared up, you need to get on there and listen at Trekking Trek Pod. If you want to hit us up on Twitter and talk about the tears of joy or sadness, I'm not telling you which they were, but you definitely need to listen and see what you thought. And tell me. And tell Thomas. And tell the world. Because you can do that on Twitter. And like I said, Trekking Trek Podcast, you can hit us up. Star Trek Discovery. Get it.
And
Jay, you got any plugs?
Just my hair plugs. Trying to grow some hair back.
He's on that Hasselhoff treatment.
All right. Follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/Landoz, LANDOZ. That's the where you can find the latest musings from me, 140 characters at a time. I also run a website, buttmunchchips.com. Buttmunchchips.
Sit on your butt.
In a munch.
That is where you can find the exclusively posted Game of Thrones talk, a.k.a. Got Talk, where myself and Hunter East break down each episode of Season 7 of HBO's award-winning series Game of Thrones. We are in somewhat of a hiatus because we don't know when it's coming back. So in the meantime, we have the Butt Munch Chips Variety Pack, which is a conversation podcast where Hunter and I, generally Hunter and I, people feel free to jump in if you want to be a part of the Variety Pack. We talk on a certain subject and wax poetic on that. The latest one we have up is about video games, the future of, and how we got to this point. We will have a podcast talking about Thor Ragnarok and where the Marvel Cinematic Universe looks after Ragnarok, so keep an eye on that, and that is posted exclusively at buttmunchchips.com. So for Matt Weaver and Justin Kritzinger, my name is Landon Doan. We thank you for joining us on another edition of Nerd News Cafe. Stir it up. You've been great. We've been Nerd News. Good night.
Good night.